And we are live! Happy, or shall I say, this awful goodness, episode 55. It's the Boxing Day special. I'm your host, Condor Jez. But today, since we're feeling festive, I'm Jingle Jez. And with me today is the hoe that puts the ho 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 in Santa, Midnight.
I gotta be honest, I love Christmas. I love Santa Claus. I love everything about it. I love Christmas cheer when people participate. I think it's great. Fuck all the humbugs.
I mean, I'm fine with it. It's just like, I don't know, it gets tiring after a while. I'm just weird like that. But anyways, tell me about your Christmas.
I had a reasonably good Christmas. I went to some family's house, had some dinner. Ended up having to stay a little bit longer than I intended to. I get this thing, like whenever I partied or went out with friends, I always got the Irish exit, you know.
Ah.
And there's a certain point where I have to leave. It's time to go.
We have
And I
something
ended up.
similar in we have the Midwestern exit too. It's similar to the Irish exit. You know, where you say you have to go, but then you just stay for like a couple minutes longer, and then you're like, okay, I gotta go, and then you're like, yeah.
I hate the lingering goodbyes. Like, just say goodbye and go. Like, I gotta go. When it's time to go, I gotta go. I can't do the lingering goodbye. I hate them. I get irritable.
Well, my Christmas wasn't. It was okay-ish. Let's see. I had on Christmas Eve. I just got some Chinese food, like in the Christmas Story.
What did you get for Chinese food?
Uh, it's something called combinado. It's like rice and noodles with like chicken, pork, and shrimp. And of course, I fed the little begging nog a giant fucking shrimp, the biggest one in my bowl. And then I also gave her like a chunk of chicken and like a slice of pork meat so she would leave me alone.
How much does that dinner cost in soles and American money?
Let's see. I 20 soles. 20 divided. Let's see. Let's round it up to 4, maybe like around $5.
That's pretty good. That's what Chinese food is supposed to cost, man. The last time I got Chinese food, so my favorite Chinese food is probably General Tso's chicken, General Ga's chicken.
Ooh.
And maybe the Singapore noodles. I don't know if you've ever had the Singapore noodles.
No, but my absolute favorite when we used to go to the Chinese buffet would be the teriyaki chicken on a stick, or like
Oh
one
yeah,
of
I
my
like
uncles
that
used
shit.
to call gopher meat. And the crab rangoon.
If you put meat on a stick, I like it even more.
I mean, that's just a primal thing, meat on a
Yeah,
stick.
I also like crab rangoon. So I think the last thing that I got when I got Chinese food was like a General Gao chicken combo plate,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that cost me like 15 fucking dollars.
Oof.
And that combination plate should at most cost 9.
Yeah, I mean, uh, where did what was it, like in your town or in like a bigger town?
No, it was in. See, and there's the thing. It was in the town that I'm living in, which is not a city. It's small.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah,
As I
prices
was
are.
telling you, yeah, as I was telling you before, the place where I usually like get a lunch for my one meal a day that fills me up for most of the day. They started out at like 8 soles and then they raised it to 9. And then for the longest time, it's been 10. And now, I don't, as I said, I don't know if it's just the holiday season, but they raised it up to 12 now.
It's they're doing the fucking they're long marching the prices up.
Hmm.
You'll accept it at 8. Oh well, I guess it's got to be 8, and then 9. You're like, fuck 9. All right, fine. And then 12, they're like, fuck it, just do it real quick. And you're like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do about it? I guess.
Pretty much, that's what. Now, when I think about it, I think I should stop at a kiosk and get myself a Argentina Campeones calendar and then go through and mark through days on which I should stay in and which days I should go out and get like actual food.
Explain that strategy. Why are you choosing days to stay in and days to go out?
Oh, it's
Are there days when prices are
money
better?
saving thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um or or there's also or there's also like certain days they'll have like a really good menu, like usually on like Saturday the restaurant down the street has a soup called minestrone, which is fucking awesome. And they and for like the second they might have like a noodle dish like macaroni with ground beef or green noodles with like a pork chop.
Green noodles.
Yeah, the tallarines verdes.
I don't know if I've ever heard of like. I understand the concept of
Okay,
green noodles.
so what it is, it's like fettuccine, sometimes spaghetti, and then they make like a green sauce out of like spinach and cheese.
I was so they're colored green with spinach. They put
Yeah.
spinach in the pot. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
No, it's the green. The green comes from the sauce.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah, you know what? I should just send you a whole bunch of like Peruvian recipes for you to try out. You
Yeah,
know
that
what?
sounds
Heck,
good.
you know what? Heck, maybe I might look for like a cheap Peruvian cookbook to send in your package too.
That sounds pretty good. I really like pesto a lot.
It's similar to pesto, but I think it doesn't have the pine nuts. It just has like spinach, cheese, garlic, and something else.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty fucking good, man.
And it is not just any cheese. It has to be some a type of cheese called queso fresco, just like a white cheese, and it's
Yeah, I
kind
know.
of like, yeah, it's kind of wet, crumbly.
When I lived in New York, all of the grocery stores that I shopped at sold queso fresco,
Hmm.
and you could buy it at some of the bodegas too.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what else about my Christmas? My mother sent me some money, and then apparently she also bought me a Freddie Mercury Funko Pop, the Flash Gordon version.
Nice. So
Yeah,
you,
I know you laugh about Funko Pops, but I'm okay, so Funko Pops are stupid, but I'm not like the idiots who like spend every single dollar buying every single Funko Pop ever made. I choose Funko Pops because of my taste. Like I have a Bulma Funko Pop. I have a Sailor Moon Funko Pop. I have Ego the Living Planet Funko Pop because I like Kurt Russell.
I to some degree I understand it. They're like totems of the things that you like,
Hmm.
right?
My sister got me two Rogue One Funko Pops, I think Andor and one of the not Forrest Whitaker's guys, one of the Asian dudes. I think the one with the dreads.
That's pretty nice of her.
And also Jin, and I think someone else got me Jin Urso.
See, look at that. Your family's fucking thinking of you. They're buying you Christmas presents.
Yeah, they like to buy me a lot of Star Wars stuff, even though I kind of checked out after like The Force Awakens.
They're never gonna understand that.
I know, but I mean, if I could watch Andor, that looks pretty cool, and also I also like Diego Luna. It's pretty cute. But lately I finally decided that I was old enough to watch The Sopranos.
How far? Okay, dude, I'm torn on the way they ended the series. I won't spoiler anything for you. You probably know it already, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
How? Where did you start? How far have you gotten?
Well, I'm still in season one. I think I'm on episode 6. I just started episode 6, which is Pax Soprana.
Let me do a quick brush up on what happens on episodes 1 through 6. Dude, it's a masterpiece of a series. Even despite its flaws, it's really fucking good.
I know. It's uh I'm actually enjoying it, and I've been realizing that yes, I need in my life a a cocky Mediterranean man with a hairy chest. Maybe not balding and chunky like James Gandolfini, but I have the fat man. I have Canales. He's enough for me.
All right, let's see. I'm going to recap these episodes real quick. David Chase is one of my favorite
Yeah.
writers of all time. He is a
Did you
brilliant fucking writer.
Okay, before you go, did you see the prequel with James Gandolfini's son, Saints in
Nope,
Newark?
most likely
Okay.
not going to watch it.
Well, I might bite the bullet. I might take one for the team and watch it and give you my impression because I'm liking Sopranos so far.
Get through the whole series before you decide whether or not you want to watch it.
I
You
okay.
know what I mean?
Yep.
Because like there's a holistic view of the IP that I don't know that the prequel is true to. So it's been so long since I watched this show. Let's see, episode 1: Tony Soprano begins therapy. His mother refuses to move to a nursing home. Uncle Junior wants to use what's his face, Artie Bucco's restaurant to blow up to kill someone, but instead Tony fucking blows it up.
Yep.
And Tony's nephew,
Christopher,
that's
who
oh
is
that's
my
Chris. Okay.
crush. Yep.
Oh yeah. Chris
I have
murders.
decided I need a man like Christopher, aka Michael Imperioli. Not as abusive, but with the hot
Keep
headedness.
watching. Keep
Okay.
watching. Let's see. Episode 2: Christopher and Brandon Falone began hijacking trucks. Yep.
They
Blah
kill
blah
the
blah.
guy.
Yep. Carmela asks Tony for a favor. Blah blah blah. Tony forces Livia to move into a nursing home.
Yep.
Episode 3: The Sopranos hire the Buccos to cater a dinner party. Tony's daughter Meadow asks Christopher and Brendan for speed to help stay awake for SATs. Jesus Christ, you're in
Hmm.
high school. Tony accepts the task of securing a divorce for a Hasidic Jew's daughter. Junior unleashes retribution upon Christopher and Brendan for their truck hijackings. So, okay, Chris was robbing Junior's trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
Chris and Brendan were doing it. Well, actually, it was Brendan's idea to rob the trucks, and I guess Chris went along for the ride. It looks like to me.
Okay. I'm just catching up. I don't want to read all of it.
Yeah.
And then 6 is Uncle Junior Soprano because there's so much that happens. Like it's
Yeah, Jackie Aprile died, and so Tony decides to make Junior the boss.
yeah.
What are
Uncle
we
Junior
talking?
Soprano is appointed.
We're talking about Sopranos because I started watching Sopranos.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's in HBO?
say that again.
HBO. Where is the Sopranos?
Yeah, it was an
Yep.
HBO original.
Uh,
It was it that The Sopranos was like a high point in establishing mythic arcs on television
mhm.
through cable, and it's really where the binge watching started.
It's basically an American telenovela?
I would say that it has an ultimate. There is an overarching plot that plays out across the series, for sure. So it's not meant to go on for 20 seasons, although it did go on for like 13 seasons, I think. How many
Well,
seasons was it?
I think it was like 6.
Oh, all right, 6, 13, whatever. Um, yeah, there's something to like about like every episode of the show. Fucking Junior is such a
And
cocksucker. I hated that
and
guy.
the cast is like, I love the cast. I love little Steven Van Zant from Bruce
Yeah,
Springsteen is Silvio Dante.
he's
Love Big Pussy.
Tony's
Uh
whole crew is great.
Polly Walnuts, Tony
Yeah, Polly
Sirico,
Walnuts is
R.I.P. in peace.
fantastic. Tons of memes from both him and Littles. Like the show is full of memes and quote. Like it's very well written and designed. I like it a lot.
Oh, and on another point, I showed the fat boy Canales clips of Tony interacting with Livia, the mom, and
Yeah.
he's like, and that's their dynamic with him and his mom.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well,
That's terrible.
maybe not to that extreme, but it's there. You can see it.
That's crazy.
I know.
There
He's
is some good development with Livia, so keep an eye on that character. That you know, the character that I hated maybe the most in the whole series. Can you guess who it was?
who?
Well, you got to guess. When I say can you guess, you have to actually guess.
Carmela.
Yeah, I hate her. I hate
Uh
her. Up
Carmela was
until
like Skylar White before Skylar White. Also,
that's,
hi Maniac Man 2030 saying he says hi before laying down. Also, Vegano for Pope.
wait, I looked it up.
Vegano for Pope.
He is the true
What up,
Pope.
Maniac Man? Um, yeah, she was very much Skylar White before Skylar White. There's an episode, I think it's in the last season, maybe it's the second to last season though, where she has a good honest moment. But what I hated about her was she's very pearl clutching about her husband being a mobster, but she sure loves spending his fucking money.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like halfway through the 6th episode and she just bought like some new furniture.
Yeah. I also I hate the general, and this is something that like this is in real life as well, which is why it's in the show. That constant materialist dynamic of constantly fucking spending money on shit you don't need. It
Mm.
drives me crazy when people I know are. I mean, I don't care what people do with their own money. It's not like I think I have any say in it, but I'm like, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to constantly be blowing money on furniture and whatever. Like, I want to just be happy with what I have.
Yeah, that's why I try to find stuff that I find that I will have use for.
Yeah,
Like I have like yarn and notebooks.
exactly. All stuff that you use.
Mhm.
But like, how many fucking couches do I need to have owned in my entire life? How much do I need to pay for a fucking table that I'm going to eat dinner on? You know what I mean? Like, I have a table. I don't need another table.
I mean, look at the size of their house.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes, I'm starting to watch The Sopranos and I'm watching it so far. But anyways, let's
Before we change subjects, just let me ask you real quick. Did you ever watch The Wire?
not yet. I've seen
Okay.
clips.
Okay.
Is it another David Chase thing?
It's the thing David Chase did after The Sopranos. It lasted 4 seasons. Season 2 is probably my favorite season because it's all about dock workers.
Okay. So all I really know is there was a guy who had like a scar across his face and then there was Idris
Yeah,
Elba.
that's Idris Elba.
No, I thought he was someone different.
Oh no, I lied. That isn't Idris Elba. That's someone different.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, what's been going on since we last saw you? And to our viewers, I hope we also had a good holiday season. And Mega, we forgot to ask you.
Yeah.
Hi, how was your Christmas? Or as you say in your native language, tu Navidad.
It was pretty nice. I went to visit my parents, my siblings, and the whole family reunited, and we have an amazing dinner. Actually, I still was eating some of the leftovers a couple of minutes ago.
And what cena navideña did Mama y Mega prepare for you?
Well, it was not only Mama Imega, it was also Imega Aunt and another Imega Aunt.
The
And so,
Megans.
yeah, Imega Aunts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it was a shit ton of stuff. There were a turkey, a ham leg, uh, a Christmas salad, rice, spaghetti, mm, what was romeritos, uh, ayocotes. It's another word for big beans.
Ooh.
Big
And
beats.
sorry,
So big beats.
big beans.
Oh, big beans. Okay.
Baked beans.
Yeah,
Oh, baked beans. Got it. Got it. I love baked beans.
yeah, and a lot of other stuff with, peppers, chili, the usual Mexican stuff.
Guacamole.
No, they were a lot of how do they call it? Chiles capeados.
Oh. Doesn't sound too bad.
No,
Did
it's
you get
actually I love this season because the food is extraordinary good.
did you
I had
did you did you get any champurrado?
No, actually, that it's more common to see during the celebration of the Three Kings.
Ah. You were gonna say something midnight?
I love Christmas ham. I love it. I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
And based on what I have here, it's easy to cook,
Hmm.
or I am wrong.
Wait, say it again.
That cooking the ham is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it is pretty easy. I mean, the cooking a turkey is pretty easy too. It's like you just have to pay attention to it. You have to like I don't think you have to baste a ham, but like turkey really all you the work is in the prep. You prep it right, you just gotta baste it every half hour, 45 minutes.
And
Ham you just cover in foil and put in a tin and put in the oven. Slow.
or you can be like my family, like dump a can of Sprite or 7 Up over
Ooh.
it.
Ooh. Over the ham?
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fucking good.
You brought to me a memory from 2004,
Oh
Christmas
boy.
2004. I remember that my uncle had a huge salary boost that year, and in order to celebrate that, he brought a huge piglet for the entire family.
Oh, lechon.
Yeah, that
I
was
love a piglet, man. I love a pig roast.
yeah that was. I think that it was something that I only saw in cartoons when I was a little kid, but when I saw it with my real eyes, it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be awesome, and it was awesome. One of the
I went to
best.
high school with this girl who was Portuguese, and she was fat, and her whole family was fat, so you know they knew how to fucking eat. And one day she's like, "Hey, midnight, I got a couple people coming over to my family's house for a pig roast. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Bro, really?" Like she just knew that I was gonna. It's not like we hung out like we were just general friends. We weren't close or anything. But she invited like 4 or 5 people from our classes to her house for the pig roast because she knew like these are the people that are gonna fucking love a roast pig. And it was everything I hoped it would be.
Aw. Midnight, you should have wifed her.
No, she was already involved with someone. Like it wasn't like that, but
Aw.
her family was really cool. She was a really nice girl.
Also, I know the reason why Midnight didn't wanted to have something with this girl.
Why?
What's the reason?
She was not a snooze new lady.
She was like 2.5 times my size.
Okay,
In height or width?
that's what I'm gonna
With
ask.
Ooh.
and the guy that she ended up marrying, like they're clearly appropriately matched.
Oh, so she got with the fat dude.
Yeah. Well, she probably. I'm pretty sure like she got with someone from her church or something like that. Like so, a
Oh.
Portuguese Catholic.
All right. Anyways, frogs are salty. Frogs still salty. Argentina's response to France's petition to replay the World Cup final. Stop crying. So apparently these salty frogs want like a replay of the last game of the World Cup because they lost in a penalty shootout against Argentina. And there was a petition that was started in France to replay the World Cup final. And currently it has over 200,000 signatures. And the French are furious with the officiating of the game.
So, what are the chances? And I kind of know the answer to this already. What are the chances that the officiating was bunk?
I have no idea. Their complaining is that somehow we paid off the Argentinians paid off the game. It's like in light of their economic situation, how?
I don't find it hard to believe that Argentinians won a soccer game fair and square.
Mm, possibly. But I mean, you gotta admit the team has given it their all.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I don't find it hard to believe that they won the game fair and square. It's easy to believe that an Argentinian fucking soccer team won without any sort of bullshit.
Right.
I don't know why the French are crying so much because uh, I just read that Kylian Mbappe is the top rated player in the entire world right now, and also is the one who is getting the best salary already. They
They're
should
Well,
be
let
they're
me
proud.
ask.
just I mean, it's obvious they're butthurt because they claim to be like the diverse team, and then a bunch of white boys from Argentina show up and run them over.
Let me ask you this, Imega. When
Okay.
was the last time the French weren't fucking crying about something?
Uh, the football team or the nation as a whole?
Anything.
Pretty much every
They don't,
time.
yeah, they don't stop crying. They cry, they cry, they cry, they cry.
I mean, who remembers back in the day when we changed French fries to freedom fries?
That was so stupid.
I know.
Also, I was hearing how much time left has Macron in the presidency?
I have no idea. That's a good
I don't
question.
know. I don't care. I don't care about the French.
No, because I was hearing the other day that he makes something that was not very PC for French standards. And many argue that the reason is because Macron is already on his way out and he doesn't give a shit what is going to do or happens to his reputation.
As I said, they're the French. They do not matter
Well,
except their cuisine.
uh, well, this is the thing, Jess. We
Yeah.
already have a pre-based prime minister in Italy right now.
Mm-hmm.
If everything goes according to plan, if we can call it like that, Marine Le Pen could be the next president of France. So that
Mm-hmm.
will mean another based leader in Europe.
And doesn't Marine Le Pen kind of have like a dummy mommy thing going on?
I don't know.
Well, I know she's at least blonde.
Hmm?
So no, she can. Oh, she can team up with the chicken Italy. I know a lot of people. Oh, midnight. What's that?
I'm just laughing about the chicken in Italy. you know, it's crazy because Marine Le Pen doesn't like all the stuff that I heard about her compared to the stuff that I actually found out about her. She's not that hardcore when it comes to being right wing. Like she really just mostly is looking to like inspire and support the country of France doing what is best for the country of France
Yeah,
before they do things for anybody else. That's not.
and and that's the and I believe that's the same thing with the chick in Italy.
Yeah,
He wants the best for Italians, not the Italians coming over on boat from across the Mediterranean, you know?
you're not gonna pay someone else's bills, or you shouldn't pay someone else's bills before you pay your own rent. That's all there is to it. If you do that, you will end up homeless. And don't be surprised when the person whose bills you paid are like, "Oh man, sorry, I wish I had room, but I don't."
And I mean, have you seen what happened to France after Morocco got knocked out? Why are they
Uh,
doing that in France?
wait,
Why
is
didn't
this
they
is
do
is this more gay European falling down kickball talk? Did the
Yeah.
Moroccans go nuts and burn shit down?
I mean, what else are they supposed to do?
Yeah,
But
they
only in
they
France. Didn't hear anything from Morocco, just the Moroccans in France just ripping shit apart.
well, and there's a thing. So one thing that we don't really acknowledge is the migrants that are sent out of said pick your country. My experience, my personal direct experience with it was with Puerto Rico, which isn't a country. It's, I mean, you know what I mean. Puerto Rico is like a 51st state, but it's a country, but it's not, but it's a territory, whatever.
Mhm.
They flooded the town that I'm from, like that I was born in, with the people that they didn't want staying on their island. So how are those people going to behave when they get to their destination?
Yeah, it really makes you think.
Right?
Hmm.
So Morocco, and I can't, they shouldn't be allowed to do it, but Morocco did what is in Morocco's best interest in a manner of speaking. They sent the people they don't want sticking around in Morocco somewhere else.
It's basically an international Mariel boat lift.
Yeah. I gotta go pour a cup of tea. I'll be right back.
All right. But anyways, Argentina says that if the French are collecting signatures for a replay of the World Cup final, I promise that we will take advantage of the moment of unity of the Argentines and collect signatures so that the French stop crying and also win the World Cup of signatures. This Valentin Gomez suggested. In just a few hours, the Argentinian petition already had more than 30,000 signatures. And of course, people were saying that Argentina is the rightful champion. They would say if it wasn't for Mbappe, they wouldn't even make it to penalties. Read another.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
that I was thinking about is that, in my opinion, is very stupid that they go to penalties after the extra time. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that they should go directly to, how they call it. Uh,
Overtime.
no, no, no. The one after the penalties, in which the one who scores first wins. Who is that called?
Uh
In Spanish, it's called muerte súbita, but in English, I don't know how they call it.
Sudden death.
Sudden death is called like that.
I believe so.
I think they
Oh.
should go like that after the extra time instead of the penalties. It will
Right.
be
Hi
way more
Hero.
exciting. Hi, hero.
You're Puerto Rican. That's cool. What do you think? What do you think? I don't have the article, but they were talking about making Puerto Rico a 51st state. What are your thoughts? And yes. The French. Yep. Also,
I
can
don't.
we please ask you to censor the word French? Put an asterisk where the E is, please. We do not like this language on our show. We like to keep it pretty clean.
I don't think it's unreasonable for Puerto Rico to become a state, but they have a lot of cleaning up to do before that's realistic. If they're made a state before that, it's gonna fuck everyone, including themselves.
Yes, I like Argentina too.
So, what do you think just about my idea?
uh, I don't know if they want to go for it, then go for it. I just believe that Argentina, despite the shithousery, the blatant shithousery that they are wont to do, I think they won um the World Cup fair and square,
Mm-hmm.
despite their shithousery. What else?
Well, I think that at least Messi got away with getting a World Cup before retiring
Yeah.
because there is no way he's going to take part in another World Cup.
And I just like it how Cristiano Ronaldo is seething about it because he deserves it. He knows what he did. He may think he's the nice, pretty boy, but he's not. He knows what he did. I know what you did, Cristiano Ronaldo. Can't hide forever. It'll come out soon.
And also, I was hearing that actually um, there was another player who is, I think, the second best in the world after Mbappe. He's from Norway. But the problem is that
That
since the Norway's,
Erling Holland or whatever.
yeah, that bastard. But since
He
the Norway squad didn't qualify, he wasn't allowed to play.
uh Erling Holland has like that face that definitely needs a beard. Um it would be much improved if he had a Viking beard cuz to me he kind of looks like a shaved blonde Neanderthal.
Hmm.
But if he grew like the big massive blonde Viking beard, then he'd look better. Anyways, Nancy Pelosi 82 is marked for wishing Americans a happy Schwanza.
Oh, yeah, I saw
Not
that.
not Kwanzaa. In final congressional speech before stepping down as House Speaker. Finally! Good
Final.
riddance to you, you old hag.
All drunk. Ha.
Yep. Go back to your house and eat your ice cream and watch and go to your gay slave owning husband. Whatever. So outgoing speaker Nancy Pelosi received one last round of laughs from the internet after she erroneously wished Americans a happy Schwanza in her final congressional speech. She will no longer likely be speaker again. Good, because the Republicans took control over the House of Representatives, and she doesn't want to keep her position as the Democrats' leader in the lower chamber. Uh, she, as we said, she wrapped up her speech by saying, I wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Schwanza, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate it, be safe. And sorry to poison your eyes, but here's the old bag, and we're not paying the. So of course they're saying that she was trying to wish people a happy Kwanzaa, which is totally not a made up holiday.
She doesn't. She was just trying to like. She was just making word sounds. Like she wasn't actually,
Yeah.
like the if I say contact, it's like she's just like you ever see those corporate people who here's a good example. I worked at this retail store one time, and you know
Mm-hmm.
how like you get a retail job and you're like, it's a bullshit job. It's a shitty job. There's nothing good to be had from it but a shitty paycheck that I fucking need. And like, sure, I can climb up the ranks here, but why the fuck would I want to, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then you run into that person that's like the same age as you, and from somewhere near the same like world as you, and they use all the fucking management talking points, and you're like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid for $8 an hour? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That's the mentality that people like Pelosi have, except for it's for a lot more than $8 an hour. They'll drink whatever Kool-Aid they think they have to drink to make whatever money they're making.
That's the corporate life for you, I guess.
Yeah, okay, compliance is mandatory.
Let's see. Fox News' Monica Crowley cracked Schwanza follows hot on the heels of Festivus, referring to the holiday from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And then someone else said that Schwanza sounds similar to Schwanz, the word for penis in German.
It sure does.
Schwanzstück. And someone else mocked Pelosi by using the photo of the speaker kneeling and wearing a kente cloth after the murder of Greg Flood.
Perfect example.
Let's see.
Perfect example.
And let's see. She's served Congress since 1987. That's too damn long. Who does she think she is? Strom Thurmond in a wig? And then she says she's currently helping Paul recover after he got hit by the hammer by a purported sex slave. And then here's the Schwanza follows on the heel twist tweet. Yep. There she's kneeling, being performative along with some other white bitches. Maybe this one's not as white, but yeah.
So
White bitches
stupid
in
and
the
so
background.
obvious. I don't like anybody that fell for this. Fucking come on, man. Can we be less
Yeah.
stupid? Please be less
God.
stupid.
Midnight, you live in a small town. Do you know about this?
What is that?
Oh, it's the Schwann's truck.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Story time. So I used to live out in the ass crack of nowhere in Wisconsin, and if you wanted some good quality frozen food or ice cream, you just call up the Schwann's man. And this big old refrigerated truck here would drive around on the country roads, and they deliver you your chicken nuggets, your frozen meats, and my favorite, your ice cream. My favorite. What?
Is that for real?
Yes, it's for real. I'm not bullshitting you, man. I remember I lived with my grandma for so my sister and I, we lived with our grandma for years, and she would always get ice cream from the Schwanzman, and my favorite was these silver mint bars, which is basically like a chunk of mint ice cream and about the size of a Snickers bar, coated in chocolate.
That sounds pretty fucking good.
I know.
Hmm.
And she'd also buy the sundae cones, which is basically an ice cream cone, but then at the bottom it's filled with chocolate.
I've always been a fan of the Choco Taco.
I don't think they sold anything but that. But yes, first you get the catalog in the mail, and then you choose what you want from the Schwanz man, and you either called them up or sent the form in the mail, and then the Schwanz truck would come, drive around, and bring you your delicious frozen goodness.
I had no idea this existed.
Maybe it's a Midwestern thing. Maybe there's no such thing where you live.
I find that believable.
But yeah, if you live in the Midwest, hunt down a Schwann's truck. I don't know if they send the mail catalogs now. I think it's all online now, but if you find the Schwann's catalog, order some good shit from that, and then get a visit from the Schwann's man in the Schwann's truck.
What's the markup on that delivery? Like if a box of chicken nuggets, it's probably like $4 at the grocery store. What does it then cost you to get from the Schwann's man?
Oh shit, I don't know. It's been years since we've actually ordered from those guys. So maybe maybe a box of chicken nuggets could be 10.
So it's like that's a pretty high markup. That's like 120% markup.
I don't know. I don't know what the prices are these days, but I can imagine it's like in the $10 range at least. So
You almost
yeah.
might as well order delivery. Maybe.
Or you could either get it from the Schwanzman or you can like drive like a half hour to your nearest grocery store.
How long does it take after calling in the order for the Schwann's man to show up?
I don't know, like a day or so.
Okay.
Oh, uh, okay. So we asked Hiro what he thinks about Puerto Rico should be a state, and he said yes, it should be a state, but it needs to be cleaned up first. Uh, New California has to be a state, indeed. Speaking of new states, technically this is a new country. The southern half of where I'm living, Peru, they want to form and make like their own country. And they're all like they're the touristy Andean states like Cusco and Ayacucho and Arequipa, where you can go up in the mountains and shit. And Puno, where you can go to Lake Titicaca. And then they need to decide. They can never decide. And typical Hispanic waffling. Yes, FJB.
I mean, they're waffling, but they're also, and I'm talking about Puerto Rico here, they're being waffled on. Like, the U.S. has to shit or get off the pot as far as they're concerned and either fucking decide, okay, we're going to make you a state and here are the steps to go through with it. And if you don't, then we're going to end the deal, or they got to cut them loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And also, yes, I know that Zelensky was at the White House. Why? We do not know. All I know is that there's a picture of President Biden grabbing his ass.
That's
Which
legit,
is
or is
weird.
no?
Yeah, it
It's not
turns out it's
real.
legit. I'm pretty sure it's legit because I was like, this can't be real.
Well, one of you grab me that picture. We're
Let
gonna
me-
talk. We're gonna talk about other more pressing items aside from giving all the money to Ukraine because yeah.
I
So
think there are
well,
a lot of people who don't understand that the United States does not have unlimited money. Like they think that
yeah,
the United States can provide for every single fucking person on this planet, and the reason that we're not is because we're big meanies.
that's that's what I told someone from Argentina the other day. I think I mentioned it on the other show, but we were they were amazed at why I want to move to Argentina and why and how they wanted to move to like a good country like USA, Britain, Germany, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, one day the shit that's happening in Argentina is going to happen in your good countries, you know that?
Oh, excuse me. People really do have a fucking difficult time understanding limited resources in any context. Like I get really frustrated. I'm going a little bit out to left field here, but I'll pull it back in. I get really frustrated with people that talk about life as if it's a fucking sneaker commercial. Life is not a sneaker commercial. You do not get to live forever. You do not have infinite years to live. You cannot. It is most often too late. You cannot do most of the things in life that you might at some point want to do. You do not get infinity years to live. If you're lucky, you get like 70. If you're lucky, you get like 70 good fucking years, maybe 75. My father died at 67. That's about how many years I have to live in totality. Maybe I'll get a couple more. Maybe I'll get a couple less if misadventure doesn't take me out first. And I like over the course of my life, this is totally related. Over the course of my life, I've dealt with people that are just like, anyone can do anything. You just gotta believe. It's like, no, anyone can't do anything. There are limited resources to you as a person and to the planet as a whole. And it is a zero sum game. All of it is the totality is the planet. So people have this anyone can do anything, everything is magic fucking sneaker commercial idea of the world. And then they think that everything should be flowing out from the, the US into everywhere else because we have everything and they have nothing. And that's just not the case. We don't have anywhere near everything. We're still a struggling country trying to, like, I mean, we've done well given the amount of time this country has existed,
I
but we
mean,
keep getting the legs swept out from under us by people who think that they can just spend everything we have on everyone on the planet.
there's still like shacks in Appalachia. Like you can take a
Right.
picture from like the 1930s and current day Appalachia, and there's no there's no change except maybe more meth.
I get to do a lot of driving for my job. I love it. It's one of the things that I really fucking love about my job. And I'm all over the place. I'm in the city. I'm in the towns. I'm in the suburbs, and I'm up in the mountains too. And not too long ago, I had to drive up into the mountains for my job, and I was like, wow, there is nothing to fucking do here. There's like, imagine what this area must have been like 20 years ago before everyone had the internet and like, or even before mass telecommunications. What did you think you were going to be able to do? You had like a 20 square mile, maybe 100 square mile, let's call it that, area that you could operate in. No wonder they're doing a lot of meth.
I mean, you had there's things that kept you busy like chopping wood and making clothes and all that, farming.
I mean, I like chopping wood and shit, but that gets tired, you know? That gets pretty fucking tired.
Yeah, but back in the day, that's when men were men and women were men and even children were tinier men.
It's kind of true. I I definitely have a need for higher stimulus in my brain. Like I actually like doing stuff like chopping wood, but I need to have like tunes rolling while I do it. I can't just be out there chopping wood.
But anyways, humble viewers, on our screen we have the president of the free world grabbing ass of the president of Ukraine.
What is he fucking doing?
Some people will say it's Photoshop, but according to sources, this is not. My thought maybe he was trying to do like one of those butt pats like the coach would do to the players in like
He's the
football.
goddamn president of the United States of America.
Yeah, and people laughed at fucking Trump. Trump didn't grab world leaders' asses.
I think like he thinks that like you're probably somewhere near on point. Like he thinks that he's some sort of like little league baseball coach for this guy or some shit. Which let's get creepier on that. But for the love of God, man.
Zelensky is pretty tiny. I can see. I can see the confusion.
Joe Biden has no idea where the fuck he is at any given point in time.
And here they are gazing lovingly into each other's eyes.
Ugh.
Yes, Joe Biden, you will give me all your money.
My wife wants to go on another shopping trip.
Yeah, it's $40,000 shopping spree in France.
That's what they saw. That's not necessarily everything she bought, man. That chick could have bought a lot more stuff that she had shipped outside of her possession. You're spending 40 grand on personal items with money borrowed from American taxpayers while your country is at war. What are you doing?
Yeah. And of course, because it's a stupid communist, who runs this account, they're blocking like any the people that this guy follows or mentions can only answer. So great pictures, but still fuck you, commie.
Yep. That's, have you noticed that commies cannot do anything without censoring everyone that disagrees with them?
Right. Oh, and it looks like they're trans competition. So fuck you twice.
Frustrating and annoying.
I know.
It's our own fault. It's our own fault. We let them get these positions of power in these tech companies. We could have prevented it.
Yeah. But anyways, enough of this bullshit. Let's get to the real news.
Okay.
So while I'm sweating off my non-existent balls down here, apparently something's happening up north that I'm glad that I escaped cuz I cannot handle. Death toll from America's big freeze rises to 55. Stranded drivers freeze to death in their cars. New York is like a war zone, and storm that dumped 6 feet of snow was one of the worst ever, as temperatures hit minus 50 degrees in Montana. The cyclone bomb that has brought freezing temperatures and up to 6 feet of snow to North America has caused at least 55 deaths across the US and Canada. So, uh, that's all in US, but as 4 more people died on Christmas Eve after a bus rolled over on icy roads in British Columbia, Canada. And then it's also related to 25 deaths in the state of New York, particularly in Buffalo, where the lake effect, which also happens in my areas, is when frigid air moves over warmer lake waters and creates a freezing spray, has been lethal. Kathy Helcho says that Buffalo is like a war zone. When hasn't been? And of course, it's been negative 50 degrees in Montana, and in Des Moines, Iowa, it felt like negative 37 degrees, which meant that people could suffer frostbite in less than 5 minutes.
So
And they're
this is a
saying that it's going to claim more lives.
yeah. I mean, that's going to happen. Like, we live among nature. Nature isn't. It's not that it's non-negotiable. You can negotiate with nature quite effectively, honestly, but you have to first accept what nature is and what nature does. And as much as nature nourishes and keeps us alive, it also fucking kills us, and it always will.
Mm-hmm.
People have this weird idea. This ties into what I was saying earlier about the fucking everyone can do anything, life is a sneaker commercial bullshit. The world is eventually going to kill you. You can't politicize that away.
That's why I also don't take the climate change with as much concern as most people are, because
Yeah.
regardless of what we do, the earth is going to always correct itself.
I'm
Unless
actually I'm quite environmentally conservationist. Like, I love the environment. I love this planet. It's a great fucking place. Of all the planets we could possibly be on, this one treats us the best. We should take good care of it. But I live in reality
mm-hmm.
mostly.
But yeah, here's plows. I'm telling you, since living here, I do not miss this white bullshit. I do not miss the freezing cold.
Uh, you know, it was really pretty to see it out on Christmas Eve.
True, but
I hate the cold. I love the snow.
I mean we all feel it. And here's a map where I used to live. It's like negative 15. Nothing surprising. More snow plows. Nearly 4 feet of snow. This standing out there shoveling. I do not miss shoveling. And then stats. Kathy Holcho saying that New York is in war with Mother Nature. Well,
Well,
duh.
that's fucking stupid. Don't go to war with Mother Nature. Negotiate with her. You don't go to war with nature. You work with it.
Mhm.
See, these fucking
Yeah.
they don't understand the world they live in.
Mhm. Let's see what else. Anything else? Nope. Yeah, there's buffalo getting whited out. I mean, no surprise. And then here's Turner little bunker room. Mask hole. Yep. Like it's like waist deep. Probably up to my chest if I was there. More snow, more snow. Glad that I'm not dealing with this bullshit.
I
But yeah.
miss the period of my life when I was a skier. I really enjoyed skiing as a junior high schooler.
Mhm. Let's see. Hero says something. Actually, they're coming up with something you can age reverse yourself. Look up Aubrey de Grey. Explain this. Explain this more, Hero.
With something where you can age reverse yourself. Uh I I'm familiar with what's his face, Brett Weinstein and his telomeres stuff. It's we can human lifespans over time. Sure that they'll last longer, stay healthier longer, but ultimately there is no cheating death. We all die.
Unless they figure out like how to make us like live everlasting. No, no. What or maybe like invent like conscious transfer like an altered carbon maybe.
So the thing is, that's not going to work. If you don't transfer consciousness. What you can do so far, as far as any technology that I can think of that does or will exist, you can copy a brain pattern. You can copy it as an algorithm, but it's a copy.
In
You
the
are
same,
you.
like Armin Sola did in Winter Soldier.
Maybe I don't. I didn't see. Did I see that? I don't remember.
You saw Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
No, I did see it.
Then
Remind me.
you, well, you might remember that Armin Sola, the scientist of Hydra, is revealed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have
yeah. Okay,
survived.
yes. Yeah, it's not. That's Armin Zola's dead. That's not him. That's a computer playing out an algorithm
Exactly,
that
that's my
looks.
point.
Yeah. So, yeah, or like Cromartie in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I never saw that.
So essentially, he's a Terminator that got attached to a computer for research, whatever. And there was a point where one of the data scientists, is like, you know, this is the guy. We can't copy him. Every cable attached to this guy is part of the whole of who this guy is. When you start changing that, it becomes a different thing. It's Tiresias's boat, really. It's Tiresias's boat.
No, it's you mean nah,
Sorry,
Theseus ship?
Theseus's
Theseus.
boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It also reminds me of the portraits in Harry Potter because in the Harry Potter, it is said that when the headmaster of Hogwarts passed away, a magic portrait of the headmaster is put in the office of the headmaster, and the portrait, since it's magic, can recreate many of the mannerism and think and thoughts of the original person, but he's not the person. He's simply trained by the
Right.
original owner to imitate him.
The search for, honestly, the search, like, you should take care of yourself, you should be healthy, but the search for like immortality and everlasting life and all that stuff, it's a waste of time. It's pointless. What should be searched for, what we should all be working towards to get together, is improved quality of the years you have.
Now that you mentioned that, Midnight, this is interesting because my grandma birthday was a couple of days ago, and my mom and I were impressed because the woman is 90 years old, and she looks like a woman in her 70s.
She take care of herself.
Yeah, she eats
Yeah,
pretty damn well. She practiced yoga.
got to take care of your body and your circulation and all of the systems that start dropping off first. You got to take care of those. It's pointless to think about living forever. And I think too many people are caught up in that idea, or they just refuse to confront their own mortality.
Hmm.
Dying is terrifying. I don't want to do it, but I'm
I
gonna.
don't either, but I don't know. It's been a long time since I made peace with my own mortality, so
I don't have problem with dying as long as it's a nice death. Because if it's a painful death, no, thank you.
I mean,
yeah.
you don't really get to choose, and realistically speaking, the entire experience is going to be fucking awful. It's going to suck. You're dying.
Yeah, but for example, dying on a fire or dying, I don't know, cut into pieces is completely different than simply having a heart attack.
Well, I agree with that.
All right. Anyways, Kentucky lawmaker speaks out about transgender son suicide. So this Henry Berg Brosseau supported transgender rights since he was in high school. Died by suicide at died at 24. And then the mother says that this hate building across the country weighed on him.
I
I
see
have
parents
doubts.
protecting. Yeah,
I have doubts. Yeah, something about uh they're talking about the Kentucky transgender bathroom bill. And he was like, if you don't know a transgender kid already, you do now. You know me, Henry. And he was 16 at the time. And blah, blah, blah. And then it was approved but failed. And then the mother, Karen Berg, probably doesn't pass the early life check. They say that he said that he was a warrior, but years on, he told me that the person who had the courage to do that was harder to find. You see, right there, that sounds like it wasn't an outside problem, it was an inside problem.
yeah. I guarantee you that these parents failed this kid in some way.
But as I said, this Dr. Berg is using it as an outs as the anti-trans boogeyman.
When was the
I've,
last time you saw a parent admit that they fucked up?
um, I don't know.
It's a rare occurrence. That's why they look for these external things to blame on why their kids, ended up fucked up.
And this sentence says right here, Dr. Berg, can you guess the early life check?
Uh,
Democrat.
absolute failure.
Yep.
Yeah.
She had gone public about her son's death because politicians and anti LGBTQ groups need to understand on a personal level or else it doesn't change. No, you're literally using your dead daughter's son to
Whatever.
push agenda. You're literally using your own child as a martyr because you didn't because what I see is that this Henry kid was probably dealing with a lot of internal stuff, but probably didn't want to be open about it. So they're using like the
Oh, we lost Jess.
Oh. Hang on. Let's see. Can't un. Oh, there we go. Jez is losing her mic.
my
Okay.
Yeah, we're going off mic.
Okay.
The thing about it is that the the plug that plugs into the back of my microphone is like tends to slip out. But anyways, as I was saying, um, this woman is basically using her son as a martyr without actually like attempting to like maybe come into the um therapy sessions. I mean, I did therapy and I also find it kind of mortified that if I have my parent with me and I had to like confront them with all the things they failed me on, that's kind of the biggest fear. But it also is kind of cathartic because you have to get everything out in the open. And apparently this person didn't. If if you can catch my drift. But yeah, basically so what this guy did, he did everything. He made everything about him LGBTQ, joined an LGBTQ fraternity, founded a gay straight alliance in his hometown, but yet he didn't he didn't like address what was really the problem.
And if you think about it, right, like just judging by his mother and her politics and how she is, blah blah blah, all that gay politics was a very powerful lever for this person to use to get their mother's attention, to get their mother's
Mhm.
approval. You know, it it makes sense.
Yeah. Right here. The weight of his work became increasingly difficult for him to bear, Dr. Berg said. She asked him if he wanted to step away from his job, but he said no. Henry's not a quitter. Maybe he was just saying no to appease her because, as I said, he didn't want to seem to be a quitter. Like, if he decided to step back, mom was probably like, oh, you're not doing enough for your people. What are they going to
Imagine
think about you?
imagine how this mother would have treated this person if she just stayed Susie. If she was just Susie, would the mother even notice?
Probably not. Maybe she probably like frame it in a different like why aren't you doing much for like regular women?
Yeah,
Maybe.
stuff like that would most likely happen.
Intimidation and violence against gay and transgender Americans has exploded in recent years. Maybe.
By
And
whom?
I don't know. There Here they see that members of the PBs and other extreme groups have converged on drag events and anti-LGBTQ rallies. What they haven't told you is that the drag events, they were allowing minors. They were allowing minors, especially children, into these events. And
They don't.
that's why they were protesting.
There's that weird thing. There are two. There are essentially two camps involved. There are, well, maybe three. There are the people who are predators. There are the
Mhm.
people who just can't, like, they're so demoralized that they can't conceive of a protected class as capable of doing anything bad. It's the noble savage archetype just applied to a new demographic. And then there are the people that like know or don't care, because all of the above, all of the above are they're after social gratification. They're after social, you know,
They want their social tenchies, that
yeah.
social jolt. And yeah, and these transgender bills are there are things that children should not be taught.
I don't know why this is. I mean, I do know why this is controversial.
Yeah. And basically the bills that have been coming out against like transgender affirming care is because children don't know definitely that they want to be either the opposite sex that they were born with for the rest of their life. I mean, you've seen the massive spate of detransitioners coming out,
Children
and
don't
it,
know
yeah, and it's going to keep
like
growing day
anything.
by day.
There is nothing that children know. They're stupid.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be like, okay, Midnight, what was the craziest thing you wanted to be when you were a kid?
I there are two or three things that I always wanted to be. One is like a sort of magical knight slash D&D fighter class, and another is a post-apocalyptic cybernetic commando.
Okay, so Midnight, imagine being born in current year and your mom started sticking computer shit all over you because you wanted to be the cyber warrior.
Yeah, I'd be pretty upset by that. I'd be like, Mom, please don't stick computer chips in my brain. We don't really have that technology yet.
Um yeah, apparently like yeah, Trevor Project. I mean, Trevor Project was good in theory, but now it's been coming out that they literally have a chat where you can shut down whatever your parents come into the room.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable.
So, yeah, this lady is definitely using her son as her little dead meat puppet to
Yeah.
push an agenda. Ooh. That's why I hate talking about shit like that. Cuz I want to help, but bitches like Dr. Berg out there who want to shout me down because I know the truth about being a troon and she doesn't. She just wants to
A,
use her dead kid as
it's no coincidence that like a decade and a half ago, somewhere around then, they stopped diagnosing Munchausen syndrome by proxy. This is
indeed.
all Munchausen syndrome by proxy and Munchausen syndrome. It's both. It's both singular and by proxy.
You know what? I want one day where a troon kid just snaps and just gypsy roses their parent. You remember the little girl gypsy who her mom made
Oh
believe that
yeah.
she was like very, very sick, and then one day she just got sick of it and called a guy who ironically is from my state of Wisconsin to up and kill the fat bitch. And and luckily I think she's getting out of jail soon, so good on Gypsy. I hope she's healing.
That's a case where like maybe the guy should have gone to jail because he wasn't crazy, although he could have been.
Mhm.
But she should have. She should. She should have been put in a facility where her physical and mental health was seen to, because she was absolutely crazy and she was abused severely. So I
Mhm.
don't think that it was a good idea to send her to jail.
But anyways, uh Alex Jones' motion to set aside Sandy Hook verdict denied.
Show
So
trial.
yep. Connecticut judge on Thursday denied InfoWars host Alex Jones' motion seeking a new trial and the overturning of a jury verdict, requiring him to pay hundreds of millions of dollars, more like almost $1 billion, to families of victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. And it was not supported by any evidence or case law.
It was a lost case since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's That was specifically to make an example of him. That was to punish him and make an example of him. He didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything to anyone. Like there was no crime committed. There was that was absolutely about uh, punitive destruction of a person, which ultimately makes me think, gee, maybe there's something to see there.
And he has like walked back his statements cuz I think he was parroting them from some crazy guy from Germany called Wolfgang or something. And he was just
Wa-
parroting that information on his show for his viewers.
Walking back the statements was a terrible idea.
I
He
mean, I
never should
won't
have done it.
I mean, I won't deny that it happened, but Jones shouldn't be like raked over the coals for it for saying
Well,
that
I'm
it
curious
didn't.
now. I now wonder, did it happen? Did it? I'm curious now. I wasn't curious before, but now I am. When you silence people, it makes me want to know why are you like, dude, if you walked around saying Midnight in Exile has 9 heads, I wouldn't have like you can say that all you want. I don't give a fuck. It's easy for me to prove wrong, right?
Mm. Uh, the shooter is still alive, or they kill him?
He killed himself, Adam Lanza.
Mm.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, he shot himself.
I thought they caught him.
No.
He was also a student, or he was a random guy?
He lived near there. I think
A
he was a former
rando.
student.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he might not have been a former student.
Mm.
Which makes me wonder because I have been rewatching this movie of The People versus Larry Flint,
Great
and
movie.
yeah, it's amazing. I love it. And you might remember that the big issue during the movie is that he gets in trouble with Jerry Falwell because he makes a parody out of Campari. It makes me wonder what will happen if people eventually start to do the same thing that Larry Flint did with Jerry Falwell, but in this case with the Sandy Hook victims.
They'll if anyone starts doing that, they'll get the who was that guy that posted the gif of Trump doing the wrestling
Oh,
thing to CNN?
yeah, they literally found him. They
Yeah,
made the
that's
kid's life hell.
what will happen if people do things like that. Well, maybe not. I mean, Twitter files are starting to blow open the narrative.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because that was in the old Twitter days when they
Yeah,
have insiders. Now they don't have those insiders anymore.
but
Chat
they still
loader.
have them at YouTube. They still have them at Facebook. They still have them at Instagram. They still have them
Yeah, but
probably.
look, nobody gives a shit about Facebook anymore. That's the reality.
That's true.
Instagram, it's more for influencers. For news media outlets, nobody gives a damn. The one that they care is Twitter. That's a fact.
Ultimately, they all follow whoever makes the most money.
Basically.
Because
But anyways, speaking of Twitter and Overlord Musk. Musk to step down as Twitter CEO once he finds someone foolish enough as successor. So, old Muskie said on Tuesday he will step down as the CEO of Twitter once he finds a replacement, but will still run some key divisions of the social media platform. Basically, says that he's just going to run software and service teams, and because of it, uh, so Tesla's shares lost 60% of their value since Musk made the offer on Twitter, but then they rose 1% on Wednesday. Excuse me. Let's see. The takeover has been marked by chaos and controversy, with some investors questioning if he's too distracted to also properly run Tesla, which he is personally involved in production and engineering. What do you think?
I think this was most likely the plan all along. I don't think he ever intended to be Twitter's CEO for life.
he said that it was going to be temporary.
Okay. And he's doing it because Twitter users voted him to resign in a poll, which he launched on Sunday evening. All right. Anything else? So about over half of around 1.75 million people voted yes. And the poll results capped a whirlwind week that included changes to Twitter's privacy policy and the suspension and reinstatement of Uranus that drew condemnation from news organization, advocacy groups, and officials across Europe. Why should you care? This is an American company.
Because the EU thinks that they own everything.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yes, because they are global homos. Let's see. Musk said that Twitter was on track to be roughly cash flow break even by next year. And Wall Street has been calling for Musk to step down, had been growing for weeks, and recently even Tesla bulls have questioned his focus on the social media platform. They don't have the tweet how some Lex guy wanted to take over, and did
I
anyone
think
see
that's
that tweet?
Lex Friedman. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I follow him. I can't tell you much about him off the top of my head.
I know he has something to do with MIT. But he wanted to be the CEO, and then I think Tom from MySpace. What the hell is this timeline that Tom from MySpace was like throwing his hat into the ring for the CEO position of Twitter?
Honestly, he would be a good candidate.
Okay.
He might be the best candidate possible.
Well, we'll see. But in the meantime, old Muskie dropped this bomb. Elon Musk says almost every conspiracy theory that people had about Twitter turned out to be true. Let's watch this
I'm so
video
fucking
here.
sick, and I'm like decades past sick of people using conspiracy theorists as a
theory that
falsifier.
people had about Twitter turned out to be true.
Hold on.
So, like, is there a conspiracy theory about Twitter that didn't turn out to be true? So far, they've all turned out to be true, and if not, more true than people thought.
Kids did catch that.
I mean, to be totally frank, almost every conspiracy theory that people had about Twitter turned out to be true. So, like, is there a conspiracy theory about Twitter that didn't turn out to be true? So far, they've all turned out to be true, and if not, more true than people thought.
I mean, yeah, he's not wrong.
I'm just so sick of people. Like, I immediately know that I can never trust someone when they use the term conspiracy theorist as a fucking falsifier. It's not a falsifying term. Stop acting like this shit doesn't happen. Stop it. If you legitimately think this stuff doesn't happen, you are dumber than a rock. And if you don't legitimately think this stuff doesn't happen, then you are a manipulative asshole.
Let's see. Musk made the comments during an interview on the All In podcast, where he also discussed the Twitter files that were initially released earlier this month through Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss. And then, while speaking on the Twitter files, Musk said that if there's a part of the files that really shocked you, to which he responded that the FBI stuff is pretty intense.
We had all of the American three-letter agencies colluding with Twitter to censor and control the American public. There is no way that every single American user of Twitter, this includes left and right, every single one American user on Twitter had their civil rights violated by the American government and Twitter. And this goes for every other social media platform. Other countries don't have this same right. So, your mileage is going to vary. But this country, the United States, every single fucking person has a right to speak their mind and not have it controlled by the government.
Yep.
It turns out it wasn't a private company. You fucking assholes.
As the very wordy Ben Garrison cartoon shows us. That's how bad it was. Let's see. Um, they say Twitter files contain multiple documents. Here's the big guy and Hunter. Twitter worked with Pentagon. The files earlier this month showed that how the FBI worked to discredit the laptop report and prevent it from spreading on the platform. And then the FBI also pressured Twitter to find evidence of foreign influence and sources of disinformation to take against specific accounts. And what else? Oh, Twitter had quietly aided the Pentagon's covert online SAP campaign about swaying opinion on the Middle East, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Let's see. Twitter worked with the Pentagon despite claiming that it makes concerted efforts to detect and thwart government backed platform manipulation. Let's see. Then it's following the release of the Twitter file, the FBI said the correspondence between the FBI and Twitter show nothing more than examples of our traditional, longstanding, and ongoing federal government and private sector engagements.
Here, Hero 92694 Able says Lex is a Joe Rogan type,
Yeah.
and that Mr. Beast might take over Twitter. I don't have an opinion of Mr. Beast at all.
Mr. Beast, he's like a Twitch streamer,
Mm-hmm.
and then he also made like the Mr. Beast burger and hands out like money.
The Mr. Beast burger.
Yeah, burger. Like he made it's like a pop-up restaurant.
Oh, that's funny. Okay.
Did something called the Mr. Beast burger. What else? Let's see. On December 25th, yesterday, Matt Taibbi detailed how the FBI allegedly acted as a doorman to vast programs of social media surveillance and censorship, encompassing agencies across the federal government, from the State Department to the Pentagon to the CIA. And so much contact with so many agencies that executives lost track of the communications. And usually it's centered on like topics such as misinformation regarding Ukraine and COVID-19 vaccines.
There should be people getting arrested already. Like, there should be people in custody, and there should be mass lawsuits being filed over this, but it's not happening.
It's not happening. Nope. But even though people at Twitter aren't getting arrested, the cockatoo rodent did. Sam Bankman-Fried's girlfriend and a co-founder of FTX have pled guilty to criminal fraud charges and are cooperating with the feds.
Lesson for everybody who's going to commit crimes:
don't get caught.
The chicks are always going to roll over on you the moment they get picked up, every single time.
Oh yeah.
They will all, like, if you have some sort of like multi-person criminal conspiracy going on, don't involve women in it. They will roll on you the minute they get caught. They will roll on you if a cop looks at them funny.
Yep. Sam Bankman, the Wankman Fried's girlfriend, Caroline, the cockatoo rodent Ellison, and another co-founder of FTX pleaded guilty to criminal fraud charges related to the billion-dollar FTX cryptocurrency exchange, according to unsealed court documents. And this report came on Friday after the Wankman was extradited from the Bahamas to the United States to face charges including wire fraud and money laundering. Do you know why he was extradited?
I feel like this is a trick question. Because he ran out of money?
No, he didn't want to spend time in a Bahamian jail.
Oh yeah, because it was a shithole.
I mean, they would have killed him in that.
There were like rats and cockroaches scurrying everywhere.
Yeah.
Send me to the foreign supermax.
Oh, he ain't gonna go to foreign supermax. I mean, they're gonna kill him. Ooh. They're gonna. I really think that they will Epstein him.
He could have ended in a Japanese prison and go insane.
Oh, he'd lose his mind. He's too used to stimulation. That guy can't sit alone with his thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. Wire fraud and money laundering. He was lauded by many as a genius when he co-founded the massive cryptocurrency exchange, but he shrouded his actions by claiming that he was amassing billions in wealth in order to donate much of it to charity. The cockatoo rodent had been the CEO of Alameda Research, which was a privately controlled hedge fund, and Bankman Fried is accused of illegally and covertly transferring billions to Alameda without properly notifying his investors.
The bank man.
She
I mean, the bank man stole your money.
mm-hmm. Oh, she pled guilty to 7 counts, including conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, and conspiracy to commit money law, which facing a maximum sentence of 110 years in prison for just those 7 charges.
She might unalive herself.
Oh,
She won't do well in jail. If they convict her, she'll lose her mind.
yeah.
And
Let's
if she
see.
walks, she'll talk.
Mm. So the other co-founder, Gary Wang. Man, I see. Man, what a coincidence.
Wang and the bank man stole your money. Just
Yep,
so that
Wang
we're all clear
Bankman
on
and the
this.
cockatoo rodent.
Yeah.
Pled guilty to 4 counts, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, facing a maximum sentence of 50 years in prison. And among the celebrities who've been caught in the collapse are Tom Brady, who's being sued by an investor for promoting the exchange in commercials. He's expected to make his first court appearance. So he was estimated to be worth $16 billion and expecting to make his first court appearance on Thursday.
That's a stupid lawsuit. You're suing a spokesperson. Stupid asshole.
No, I think it's Bankman Fried is going to be on trial. Not
No, but someone's suing Tom Brady.
yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid. He's a spokesperson. He did a job. I mean, I understand. I believe that you should think about who you work for, but that doesn't mean you get sued for doing a commercial.
Started doing something quick. Okay. Let's see. In an interview with the New York Times, Bankman Fried claimed he never intended to defraud anyone, but admitted that mistakes were made.
He never intended to defraud people. He just fucking did it.
But yeah, what Hero says, both Bankman and his GF are they're Discord mod supporters.
Ew. Ew.
So if that
They must
comes out.
they must have been good friends with what's his face? The Twitter guy who was writing about Grinder and teenagers.
Joel Roth.
Yeah, Yoel Roth. Thank you.
All right. So our next story comes with this better not fucking come to our shores, but how's that oh, come on, man. Oh. Omega, can you work?
Oh, we lost Jazz. Oh, okay.
My stupid cord, I tell you. Anyways, can uh Omega, can you quick work me up archive?
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's coming right up.
So, how's that zero COVID policy working out over there?
Turns out not working out at all.
Yeah, cuz I think I'm right. Just zero policy is going to make a stronger disease. And they're already saying that people that got the vaccine are among the ones that are getting sick the most.
So I have a couple of family members that I'm very close to that told me that they got the vaccine and they got their oldest kid vaccinated, and all three of them have had issues that they didn't have before, like and their oldest kid is a teenage girl, and she is experiencing severe menstrual problems.
Mm,
The link's in the chat. They go in the prayer chat.
thank you, Omega. All right. Anyways, China's COVID cases overwhelm hospitals. In more than 3 decades of emergency medicine, Howard Birdside said he's never seen anything like this. Patients are arriving in his hospital in ever-increasing numbers. Almost all are elderly, and many are very unwell with COVID and pneumonia symptoms. And his accounts reflect similar testimony from medical staff across China who are scrambling to cope after China's abrupt U-turn on its previously strict COVID policies this month after a nationwide wave of infections. Now I am no epidemiologist. Okay. Now I am no epidemiologist, but I do know a little the simplest thing about germ theory. And so what happens when you have a disease that you don't like slowly build up an immunity over time to?
You become cripplingly susceptible to it.
That too, and if you keep scrubbing and disinfecting every single surface of the germ, what else happens?
You you make the germs that you make the population become stronger.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I guess China is because of zero COVID policy, China is fucking around and finding out.
You ever notice this is a conversation that I've been having for 25 goddamn years or more? That the poor kids that play in the fucking dirt, they always end up being able to handle sickness more heartily than the upper middle class kids who were never allowed to play in the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I literally ate shit dirt off my dad's boots because he worked in the sewer business.
Now that I think about it, probably that's the reason why Anna, the Star Wars girl, never gets sick because she likes to eat dirt.
Mm-hmm.
The chick is such a weirdo.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was a wee tiny Jez, I would eat the shit dirt that would fall off my dad's sewer boots because I wasn't the brightest crayon in the crayon box. And guess who survived both strains of COVID without very little medicine and no coof boofs?
Yeah. I mean, I played in
Yeah,
swamps when I was a
bitch.
kid. And I worked construction just this year. Like I've always done, and like my entire real career, that was all like working on loading docks and like dirty crawling through the HVAC and shit like that. Like I've been very comfortable around questionable environments my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It is by far the country's biggest outbreak since the pandemic began in the central city of Wuhan 3 years ago. Government hospitals and crematoriums have also been struggling this month amid heavy demand. This hospital is just overwhelmed from top to bottom, he told the new Reuters at the end of a stressful shift. The ICU is full, as are the emergency department, the fever clinic, and other wards. A lot of them are admitted to the hospital. They're not getting better in a day or two, so there's no flow, and therefore people keep coming to the ER, but they can't go upstairs in hospital rooms. They're stuck in ER for days. He went from never handing treatment to COVID patient to seeing dozens a day. And as he says, they're just unprepared for this. Let's see, at the private raffle hospital, said patient numbers are 5 to 6 times their normal levels, and the average age has shot up to about 40 years to over 70 in the space of a week. It's always the same profile. That is, most patients have not been vaccinated.
Mm.
Let's see. Patients and their relatives visit the hospital because the other ones are overwhelmed, and they wish to buy the Paxlovid, the Pfizer-made COVID treatment, which many places are running low on. They want the medicine like a replacement of the vaccine, but the medicine does not replace the vaccine.
We need to stop treating medical professionals as if they're clergy, and we need to get them more based on a customer service oriented model. I don't give a fuck what the doctor thinks I should do. You work for me, asshole. You do what I tell you, or you fuck off.
Let's see. Elsewhere in China, medical staff said that resources are already stretched to the breaking point in some cases, as COVID levels among staff have also been high. Some nurse in the western city of Jian says 45 of 51 nurses in her department and all staff in the emergency department have caught the virus in recent weeks. And then there are so many positive cases among my colleagues, and almost all the doctors are done with it. And to be honest, that is kind of good, because let your body fight the disease, develop an immunity, so when you get infected again, your body can keep fighting it off when you get it from other patients. Let's see. Jiang, a 29-year-old nurse in a psychiatric ward in a hospital in Hubei province, said staff attendance has been down more than 50% in her ward, which has stopped accepting new patients. And she works shifts of more than 16 hours with insufficient support. Yeah.
Lots of people do that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. The doctors were most worried about the elderly, tens of thousands of whom may die, according to estimates from Esper. I mean, wouldn't that be a good thing? Because isn't that the problem in China? There's not enough young people, but tons of old people. Shouldn't that be a good thing?
I mean, maybe.
But yeah, they're saying that more than 5,000 people are probably dying each day.
But how many citizens China has right now?
Like over 1 billion?
Do you think they're gonna go extinct? I don't think so.
Probably not.
It's whenever they talk about these numbers, it's really just, it's all to weight the statement and how seriously you take it. 1 million people died this year. Well, I mean, how many people died last year? How many people died in 1980?
No, how many people die every year for smoking or for car
Right.
accidents? Shit.
Right. Let's see. Well, obviously, China reported no COVID deaths on the mainland for the 6 days through Sunday. But even as crematories face surging demand. And then she says it's not medicine, it's politics. If they're dying now with COVID, it's because of COVID. That's what we've figured out. Like a lot of people are have died with COVID than of actual COVID itself. Right?
Yeah, but what she's saying is that if you die with COVID, COVID was the deciding cause, which is false. Comorbidity is what it is.
Right. Oh, let's see. Hero says Anna the Star Wars girl is an odd duck, and I feel sad for her though because of what happened to her sister.
Yeah, that was pretty tragic.
You can fill me in on after the show. I'm trying to finish up here. So, also, as we suspected, breaking news: DARPA unclassified documents confirm that COVID was created by this thing at the Wuhan place, coordinated by this Peter Daszak guy. So let's take a look at this.
So he needs to go up in Nuremberg trials and found guilty and given the correct sentence.
Massive number, 6.5 million. 6.5 million globally. That's criminal charges. Did Anthony Fauci lie about gain of function work? Absolutely, in my opinion, he did. And how about criminal charges? We're gonna go after Bannon for contempt because he didn't bother to show up to a farce hearing. But we're gonna let Fauci lie to Congress about something that is consequential enough to result in 6 million deaths? Can anyone explain this to me?
You could argue that Fauci committed war crimes. I mean, you really could argue.
Instead of pitting a war against people who are Christians, people who believe in the United States, people who want our country to succeed, maybe we should look at the people who are responsible for one of the greatest pandemics in human history and who have that's resulted in millions of deaths worldwide. I pray that every country in the world, every country, send it to the U.S., ask us, when are we going to investigate the crooks? The U.S. government didn't do this, but there were people in the U.S. government who did.
That means the USC. That's not how this works. That's not how international politics works, bro.
Who were negligent in their work. They did it. The Chinese Communist Party was involved in this. Anthony Fauci appears to be involved in this. Peter Daszak appears to be involved in this. Let's hold them accountable. It's time for criminal charges, criminal investigations. Jail, here we go.
Is this the same Peter Daszak they sent to investigate the Wuhan lady?
Yes, this is Peter Daszak, who was out there. We sent him to China to decide whether or not this was a lab leak or natural origin. Peter Daszak, whose company built this in the lab with the Chinese Communist Party in Wuhan, China, was sent to China to investigate himself.
Yeah,
So, yep.
Go ahead, Omega.
No, let's suppose that this guy goes to a sort of Nuremberg trial, gets declared guilty.
yeah,
It will be the best punishment for this asshole.
Wood chipper,
mm-hmm.
which probably won't happen, but I believe hanging is a valid. Like, I think that's on the books for Nuremberg conviction.
Yeah, I think hanging and then maybe like putting their bodies in the center square.
I mean, Mussolini, that wasn't all officially by the books. The feeding his balls to the dogs, that wasn't by the books. But like, we shouldn't get too caught up in how to do it. We should just, trial, conviction, sentence, get it done with, make the bold statement, move on.
Yeah. Hero says that China did it on purpose because they wanted to get rid of the old and unwell.
That's not hard to believe.
Yeah, which I find funny because they're very family orientated, that filial piety thing.
Well,
That's why they killed all the girl babies, because you got to have a boy to carry on the family name.
Well, the boys were workers.
Right.
it also turned out to be a problem because, well, that was in Japan, I think, because they only wanted males, and the problem is that they ran out of females. So how they're gonna breed if there are no females around?
Yeah, they weren't thinking ahead too well.
Okay. So I don't know if I can make this bigger, but apparently here's the the thing, the evidence that um
Oh, nice.
and it's, notice how it's no black spots, no blacking out,
Unredacted.
unredacted. Yeah.
Like, let's see. Oh yeah, was created by EcoHealth Alliance at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, according by Peter Daszak. It was designated to be a deliberately virulent and human. This is, bro. This is everything that I said it was from April of 2020. It's everything that I said it was. It's a bioweapon, and that bioweapon was intentionally released, not just on the world, but on, like when it comes to Fauci, on his own country. And the thing is, here's the scary thing. Because they released it on the entire world, it counts as an act of war against the entire fucking world.
That's true.
And they won't care because Fauci is God.
Ugh, it's so sacrilegious. I'm not even religious, and that's terrifyingly sacrilegious.
And from this Al Schmucko guy, there's our little rat Fauci. With among people.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's it on this topic. But unfortunately, the hits just keep coming. For our last topic, unfortunately, we have to end on a bit of a down note. But Midnight, have you ever been to a Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah, I think I have.
Well, Texas Roadhouse CEO dies by self-ending himself amid unbearable post-COVID-19 symptoms.
All right, now what's the truth?
I don't know. They say Kent Taylor, who was the founder and CEO of Texas Roadhouse restaurant chain, died at 65. He had dealt with symptoms relating to COVID-19, including tinnitus, a condition in which the afflicted person hears ringing or buzzing. The family said. That's a pretty nice guy. Seemed like a pretty friendly dude. They say after a battle with post-COVID related symptoms, including severe tinnitus, Kent self-ended himself. His family said in a statement.
How many documentaries on human trafficking was he secretly funding? See, the horn knows. I heard that horn. That horn said I was right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would incline that some people over here will agree with you. Let's say he battled and fought hard like the former track champion he was. But the suffering that greatly intensified in recent days became unbearable.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and call bullshit. Fuck it. I was holding off, but you know what? I'm just gonna call bullshit.
But yeah, he started Texas Roadhouse in '93, and there's like more than 600 restaurants in nearly a dozen countries.
I'm pretty sure I had a steak there or something there a couple times. I remember it being about as good as Outback Steakhouse, only different.
he also gave up his salary and bonus last year after the pandemic struck, enabling workers in his restaurant to remain employed. And he also raised money for the Special Olympics and to build homes for veterans.
Well, that's pretty
He
nice.
also committed funding a study to help those who served in the military cope with tinnitus. And here we go. While there is no data indicating that eating the coronavirus can affect tinnitus, there is the possibility that the condition can be exacerbated.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
Yes. Although we don't have a blah blah blah, we know that people with pre-existing conditions or conditions that might be caused by the coof, if they already have tinnitus, it can make the tinnitus worse. NBC senior medical correspondent. Let's see. Then the mayor says that Taylor was dealing with problems, but people may have been unaware they were serious as they were. He was struggling. People around him knew he was having challenges, but not to this extent. So if we can just ask ourselves and ask other people, if you need help, ask for help, he says. And if you want to take the long walk off the short pier, then here's the numbers.
I am skeptical. I want to know. I legit want to know. What was he working on a human trafficking documentary with Chester Bennington, Chris Cornell, and Avicii?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Let's read through the last thing. I was correct as well. I had the same opinion. How to see what happened and the outcome and what it means for the word in China. Okay. Well, anyways, let's start saying our goodbyes and wrapping this shit up. Okay, Midnight, what you got cooking over there?
I'm cracking away on this graphic, this GFX cut for the episode. I know that I'm over tisming it, but I really want it to be good, and that's what I'm working on.
And Omega?
Right now, I finally delivered all my commissions of this month, so I have a couple of days off until probably New Year's Eve.
Speaking of New Year's Eve, we got any plans?
Stay with the family.
Yeah, Midnight, what about you?
I'm going to try and avoid plans. I got family that want me to do things with them, and I'm trying to do more things with family, but, you know, I try to avoid being around people, too.
Yeah. For New Year's, I wish I could, like, go to the Argentinian bar and hang with my Argentinian friends and eat the grapes at midnight, but the bar's pretty far away and I don't want to walk around in that area around that time.
I find that these days also I totally don't like being drunk anywhere but like home, and even then I don't really even like being drunk anymore.
Yeah, I think I spent like a few minutes debating whether I wanted to get like this tiny bottle of rum,
Yeah.
just a 5 and just like a what 500 milliliter bottle of Coke, just to make a couple rum and Cokes just for the heck of it. But anyways, that's what New Year's Eve is looking like anyways. So let's say goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Adios.
Have a nice night.